Welcome back, everybody. We are now finally and officially out of the Team of the Year season, and we're moving on to the Four Nations Face-Off event. This is going to have four brand new MSPs along with some new fantasy cards. So why don't we hop on in so we can review some of the content that did come out today. It's going to be starting us off over here with the 91 overall Charlie McAvoy. He has two-way defenseman along with agility boost. He's 6'1", 209 pounds. He's got silver lead edges along with gold shutdown. And I can't say it enough. Gold shutdown is by far the best ability for a defenseman that you can have. He has 91 excel, 91 speed, 95 agility with 92 endurance. His shots in the low 90s along with his hands in the same. But his defensive stats are pretty ridiculous. 97 defensive awareness, 95 shot blocking, 97 stick checking, 90 body checking. Like, it's a very well-rounded defenseman. I wish he had just maybe a little bit more speed, like maybe 92, 93, and this would be a perfect defenseman for the right side. Then I'd probably look at making him. But right now, I'm going to put it on hold for this next card. It's going to be the 91 overall Mikko Rantanen. He's got sniper forward along with playmaking boost, silver, unstoppable force, and gold snipe. He's got 93 excel, 98 agility, 94 speed. His shots in the mid to upper 90s. His hands are in the mid to upper 90s. And his defensive stats are in like the upper 80s, low 90s, kind of sprinkled throughout. But even as a winger, he has 90 faceoffs. I mean, this is an immaculate card. Then we got Brad Marchand, 5'9", $176, representing Canada. He's two-way forward along with checking boost. Silver close quarters, gold unstoppable force. 93 excel, 93 speed, 90 endurance, 93 balance. His shots in the low 90s, hands are in the low 90s, and his defensive stats are pretty good. 98 body checking at 5'9", along with 92 defensive awareness, 95 stick checking. Like, he has pretty good defensive stats for a forward. But once again, if you're looking at it, are you going to choose the guy that's 5'9", $176? Or are you going to choose the guy at 6'4", 215 and he has better speed and agility? Like, everything is better skating-wise and shooting-wise. You're going to find Marchand's better defensively, but it gets made up because Mikko Rantanen is just a lot bigger of a player. Then you got Mika Zibanejad, the center that's going to be representing with 91 faceoffs, which is funny because Mika Zibanejad only has one more plus on faceoffs than a winger and Mikko Rantanen. But he has deking boost along with two-way forward, silver make it snappy, gold puck on a string, 92 excel, 92 speed. His shots in the low 90s. Hands are in the mid to upper 90s, though. And his defensive stats are pretty good, being in the low 90s or upper 80s for the most part. I mean, if you have to say like a blind rank off first look, it's going to go Rantanen, Zibanejad, McAvoy, and then Marchand. And it's just because there's two left-handed wingers. And, I mean, for me, it's pretty easy who I'm going to end up making from this event. We also got some other cards that got sprinkled in there. We got a 90 overall Jack Hughes. His stats are pretty good. I mean, offensively, defensively, you know they ain't going to be there, but he does have 90 faceoffs. But hand stats all in the upper 90s, shooting mid to upper 90s, skating, you know, it's going to be high up there. Barkov has 93 faceoffs. He's a little bit bigger with the synergies. It brings up to 94 faceoffs, but going to be a little bit slower of a card. Josh Morrissey. I mean, there's some okay ones out there, but there's nothing I'm like, oh man, I would love to have this. If I could pull like a Jack Hughes, I'd be in a happy spot. But I'm not arguing on any one of this. I did pull a Kempe from one of the packs. I mean, he ain't going to be used on my team, but hey, it's the thought that counts. But yeah, other than that, those are some of the MSPs. Now keep in mind, like, we still have those Four Nation cards that we're continuing to grow and add more to it. We're close to that final tier. We're about 9 million away or 8 million away if I checked right this morning. But those are the Four Nations face-offs. At the same time, don't forget we got 4 new fantasy cards that came out. So I'm going to hide my face once again. We're going to pop on over to the 90 overalls, and we're going to kick it off with Canada's Mitchell Marner. We got sniper forward along with power shooting boost, silver puck on a string, and gold beauty backhand. He has 93 excel, 91 speed, and just like the fantasy event, for every goal he scores during the Four Nations face-off event, his card's going to go up +1 because he is a winger. I don't foresee him getting a whole lot of goals just because, you know, Canada's absolutely stacked and he's more of a facilitator rather than a goal scorer himself. I would highly recommend not making this one, but it's up to you at the end of the day. Next one, we're going to have Jake Kuznetsov. We got Sniper Ford along with Pinpoint Shooting Boost. He is the USA representative. He has Silver Unstoppable Force and Gold Close Quarters. 5'11", buck 80. He's got 90 XL, 91 speed. Shots in the low 90s for power, but maxed out for his accuracy. His hands are going to be in the low to mid 90s, and his defensive stats are, they're okay. I mean, we'll see what he does. I think he can get some goals. He's more of a goal scorer than he is a facilitator, so this would not be a bad one to look at making. Then we got Elias Pettersson, 6'2". He is going to be Sweden's representative. With his synergies active, he's got goal, make it snappy, silver puck on a string. Already, I think this is a very usable card, even if he doesn't score. That's the one I will put my stamp of approval on, like 92 XL, 92 speed. His shot's completely maxed out. His defensive stats are a little lackluster, but 93 faceoffs already. This is one, even if he doesn't score, you could probably use him right now with no issues, especially if you're a huge fan, like a Canucks fan, you're going for Team Sweden. I think this is a very viable option right now. Then you got Patrik Laine. I'm going to say it right now, this is the one to make. On the front end, is he usable right now? Maybe, maybe not, but 6'5", 215, you are going to see this man on Finland on the PowerPoint. He has been an absolute monster since he's come on the ice from his injury earlier in the season. He's got gold schneip along with silver 1T. This is the one I'm looking at. Right now, he already has a max shot, so anything that can go up is going to be his speed, and that's only going to benefit him. And his defensive stats aren't horrible. Mid-80s, a little, low 90 for that stick checking. But this is the one I would highly recommend making. Now the hard part, the cost of making these. What I'm going to do is I'm going to show you these sets, and then I'm going to show you the quickest way to make some of these, in my personal opinion. So as we go into the sets, before we really do that, they are going to be able to get a 92 overall. So if you take a look at this, exchange week 1 and week 2 91 overall 4 nations face-off players to acquire the 92 overall ultimate player for that nation. So essentially what that means is if you take Brad Marchand and then you take the 91 Canada overall next week, it will give you a 92, that ultimate player for that nation. So I'm making Mikko Rantanen in hopes that we get maybe like a Willie Nylander or something like that. I'm hoping, but I got his X Factor, so I mean, I would not mind that at all. But we'll take a look at who it is. The nice part is when it comes to these sets, I think they go for 2 weeks. So you don't need to make them right away either, which I think is very beneficial. So that way, like, EA doesn't get you. We got 13 days on these sets. What's it going to cost? It costs 3 88+ nations face-off players along with 2 88s overall to make them. So if you go back a little bit, here's how you can make some of these 88 overalls. You can trade in 3 nations face-off players, any of them, so it doesn't time to a specific overall. You can throw them in the set. Bam, you got an 88 overall. You can throw them right on in. Then the other thing you can look at doing is making it as well from trading in your 84s. So if you remember Team of the Year, a lot of those 85s and above, 85s and 87s were used for Team of the Year. So it's kind of nice and refreshing to see some 84s being thrown in there because I didn't really use a whole lot of my 83s or 84s. So I might look at doing that to make these 86s. So that way I can trade the 86s, put them into the 88s. And just like we've been seeing as of late, a lot of these collectible sets. Depends on what you want to do. If you're looking to make one of the sets, most bang for your buck is going to be this 88 overall. It's going to cost you 30 collectibles, but it's going to get you exactly what you need for your trade-in for that MSP. If you want to play the dangerous game, you can get a 90 overall. That's B&D. I don't think there's anybody that's really worth it. Plus, account bound sucks, my personal opinion. Or you can save up for 40 collects, get 485+ overall. So if you're like, hey, I don't care about this event at all, I don't plan on making an MSP, my collection's completely drained, then try to get it built back up by getting 485+ overalls, because you just never know. I had really good luck on the last event that I didn't make any MSPs before Team of the Year, so maybe I'll do this again, who knows. But I'm kind of sold on that Rantanen card. Now you're probably wondering, like, what's the best way to make this? This is where I'm going to teach you guys how to make these cards for the least possible amount. All right, so we already know like what you get out of all these exchanges. Where can I start gaining some collectibles? First off, we're going to go to the objectives. In the objectives alone, you can get 24 collectibles along with an 88 overall. So There's one of your 88 overall nations players taken care of. So now you're down to is 2. Say you have that Matt Boldy card or Taze or whatever they gave you out for it. That was an untradeable one. You can throw him into a set as well. So you already got 2 knocked out and you haven't really had to do anything. Make sure you complete these objectives. They can only be done in either rivals, squad battles, or champs. But it's going to be pretty much 35 goals for a Canadian player, American player, Finnish player, and Swedish player. So it's going to take you a little bit of time to get these collectibles, but I can guarantee it's going to be worth it. Especially if you're looking to make those MSPs, that's going to be very big for you. At the same time, if you go on over to your HUT moments, you're going to see that there's 4 moments for this 4 Nations Face-Off event. That's going to award you an 82, 2 84s, and an 86 overall. Keep in mind you can use those for those 84 plus trade-in sets, so that way you can get another 86 overall Nations card that you can use to build one of those 88s. So like everything can be used into that. Then we got Wild Card. Wild Card, you have another 26 collectibles that you can get from getting all 12 levels. It's still 10,000 points to max that out. So that ain't the end of the world. Or did it drop? Hold on one second. I want to see this myself. No, it is 10,000. Sorry, I had to scroll over one more to the right. So, I mean, it's still the same format, but let's go back over to the exchange and I'm going to work you through how to make some of these for as cheap as possible, so bear with me. All right, we want to make this Mikko Rantanen card because I'm going to be making it myself. We need 3 88 pluses. If you had the Boldies, Taze, or any of that and you don't think it's going to make your team, here you go. Trade in that one and you already have 188 filled. It's like a freebie slot. If you traded that in for Team of the Year, which I know some of you guys did, it's okay. You can still earn and make it. Remember, between your wild card and your objectives, there's 50 collectibles. That means you can make 188 for free just from collectibles, and you'll be 10 shy of making a second one for free. Keep in mind, every day you're going to get 5 free collectibles. So if you do all the objectives and your wild card, there's your 60 collectibles, along with 2 days of recovering those collectibles at 4 p.m. Central Standard Time, 5 p.m. Eastern. So essentially after 2 days, you should be able to make 288s for free. Then the other one you can look at doing, as well as when you do your objectives, is you get another free 88, because that's what it is for completing all the other 4. Gives you that free 88 overall. So what you do then is you throw that in. There's my 3 88s. Now I can look at 2 other 88s. So what I would do is, if you have Boldy, you can trade them in like it's a free square. You can make the other 2. Or what I'm going to probably do is use all these guys for objectives first to knock that stuff out. I'm not going to make Rantanen right away. I'm going to see what week 2 holds. So that way I can kind of see what I want to do here. Then these 2 88s, play HUT Champs this week. Get 10 wins. There's your 88. Even if you hate Wyatt Johnston or one of the other cards, like if you got Mark Stone like me. Mark Stone ain't on my team. There's my trade-in right there. I'm going to throw that 89 in there because I ain't going to use him for anything else. Honestly, if you play the game right, you should be able to make an MSP for free each week. I'm walking you through how to do it. Then you can use those 284s and 86s. To get you more players, because they're just random, 284s and 86. It's not a nations card. Take this thing, throw it on into this set, so that way you can get an 86 overall, so you can use them for challenges, objectives, whatever it may be. I am walking you through step by step. There's no reason why you can't make this for free, or pretty darn close. If you can't get 10 wins in champs, I understand. If you sold your Boldy, Tazer, whoever you took for the 4 Nations face-off card, then hey, like you're kind of shit out of luck for that one too. But I'm walking you through. You can get 388s for free in 2 days, as long as you grind your wild card and those objectives. It's very doable. Then, as far as the 2 other 88s go, you can go a variety of different ways from it. You can continue to make other players. You can continue to trade up by either getting more of these collectible sets or just trading in your 84s that you might already have from your sets. I really hope this helps you guys out, especially if you want to make these MSPs. I want to show you the differences between Team of the Year versus this, where we really used a lot of our collectible sets, unless you're like, hey, I don't care about Team of the Year, which, hey, that's perfectly fine too. This should cover you for the 4 Nations event face-off. Now, let's focus on the fantasy side. Thank you so much for staying with me if you're here. If you are, say pepperoni pizza down in the comments below. Let's see how many pepperoni pizzas we can get in the comment section if you're still with me. So let's go to the collectible sets here. If you want to make one of the specific fantasy cards, it's going to cost you 15 of these bad boys, 15 collectibles. How do you make the collectibles? Let's get into it. We have 3 sets we can make. You can either trade in 3 87 pluses for 3 collectibles. You can trade in 5 85 pluses for 2 collectibles, or 7 83 pluses for 1 collectible. Those are your 3 trade-in sets to obtain those collectibles. It's not changed since before. You can throw in 6 to get a random BND between the 4 nations. You'll get one of them. So if you don't care and you're just like, hey, I'll throw my hat in the ringer and try to get a BND, sweet, give it a shot. Doesn't hurt. I can tell you I would try to make Line, but when you look at it, is Line worth 15 collectibles, which is 1587 pluses? I don't know. With how depleted everything is for me, I would be trading in my 83. So I might do 1 B&D for kicks and giggles. Keep in mind, you only have less than 5 days now. It's like 4 days left on this to be able to make that. So unlike the last one where we were able to get into part of the tournament, see people get upgraded while making these players, they're going to cut it dry before the event even starts. So you're really going to have to kind of gamble on this. Tell me who you guys want to make for fantasy. Tell me if there's somebody you want to make on the MSP side of the house. Is there anything that really sticks to you? The other one and the last one is going to be the AP limit went up to 12. So there's a lot of things that came out today. Me personally, I'm liking the event. I like the options because you can go in a lot of different directions. If you didn't put a lot into Team of the Year, you can sink your teeth into and potentially get a fantasy card. Or you can easily make one of these MSPs with a chance for a 92 next week if it stays with your same country. But, I want to hear what your guys' feedback is. What did you guys think of the event? I like this way more. I like this way more than the All-Star event from last year. I'm going to say it up front. I hated the All-Star event last year. It was boring. It was worthless. It turned me off from playing this game. This is when I started playing eShell this time last year, and I floated away from Hut until we had Pack-Ocalypse. I mean, that's realistic. So I like that they're keeping us engaged. There's 2 different things going on, and I really hope for good things coming from this. The fantasy event was killer, especially when we had it for the World Juniors. I hope this comes and knocks it out of the park once again. What's your guys' thoughts down below? Who are you making? Do you think this is a waste of time? Are you making any of the fantasy cards? Tell me if this video helped you out. If you like what you saw, please hit that subscribe button down below, and hopefully this step-by-step process helps you create a freebie card with a potential for 92 next week. Other than that, guys, you take care. Have a wonderful rest of your weekend, and we'll be back here. And if you can't, check me out on Twitch. We'll be live tomorrow evening, continuing our Hut Champs run. We are 9-1-0. Be safe.